Hey YouTube, how you doing? It's been a while. Incredible Crypto Corgi here. I've had a busy weekend, a lot going on in my life right now. Hard to keep track of some things, and to be honest with you, I probably did lose a little bit of pep in my step for the channel after having lost the original one. I still want to continue making videos. It seems like I wanted to I guess be a little reserved about it while I'm feeling out whether or not this is going to last longer than a month again. But the first hurdle has been crossed. I am actually searchable. I didn't get any feedback from any of the viewers about that, but I've been doing a little bit of gumshoe on my own, gumshoe work on my own. So I'm gaining confidence every day. The channel doesn't get deleted, and I have a few videos left I've recovered that I'm going to upload. So this video that I'm going to upload now is about Helium, which is one of the projects I'm just super excited about. I've invested very, very largely into the Helium mining, and I expect that to start being very profitable soon if I can get any of these miners actually into where they're supposed to be. So update on that, I did get the first of my miners where it's supposed to be, and it was a Bobcat 300. The miner had many issues syncing to the network and getting up and running, which is common with the Bobcat miners I'm finding. So anyways, these Bobcat miners are finicky, and you got to do a little bit of magic for the installation with some of the ports, and they're very they can take up to 2 weeks to sync to the network apparently, which shouldn't be an issue theoretically going forward, because long story short, the validators are coming online and you're not going to have to like fully sync up to the network. So that will be a fun experiment with the next miner that I have that I'm going to install. I also applied for a free Helium miner. Fair Spot reopened their applications, which they have applications to give away free miners. They give you 70% of the mining rewards, and if you keep it up for a certain amount of time, they'll give you the miner afterwards, so it's pretty much the best deal you'll find for a hosting arrangement for a Helium miner. So yeah, anyway, I'm just excited about everything that has to do with Helium. I wanted to hold off on any updates on the Helium stuff until maybe after I was more established with the Helium, but at the same time, there's some other videos I'm also hanging off on, like my BlockFi video I wanted to re-upload, and I'm this close to getting the card, so I'm gonna hold off on that one for a little bit, and a couple other videos. But stay tuned. I will be re-releasing at the very least some more videos, but other than that, good morning, YouTube. Happy Father's Day. It's 6/20/21, around 11:30 a.m. at the time of filming, and Bitcoin last night and this morning took a little bit of a dip lower than I thought, hit around 33,400. This is probably due to the death cross that I had mentioned occurring. Seems to have spooked some people. Okay, so this is a little addendum that I'm going to edit in, hopefully. I also just saw that China FUD is being spread apparently, which is probably affecting the price of Bitcoin. Apparently China has banned Bitcoin mining in a certain area effective today, and this has decreased the hash rate of the Bitcoin network. And generally, if the hash rate goes down, the price also goes down, because the network is seen as less secure, and the hash rate took a pretty big hit.
a pretty big hit. So it is not surprising that the price is down. And knowing this new bit of news, I think Bitcoin might continue to see a little bit lower. I don't think below 30 though, but it could definitely go a little bit lower from here. That's the thing about trying to call price action is technical analysis or fundamental analysis. At any given point, something can come up totally out of left field and completely change the game. There's just no way to really say for absolute certainty which way Bitcoin is going. The only thing that I can generally say with a fair degree of confidence is that in the long run, Bitcoin price action is going to go up, and I view it still as a very safe investment. Not financial advice, do your own research. And back to the pre-recorded clip. It's recovering now, looking around 34,500 or so. And again, still doesn't look very great. Bitcoin's looking weak. I do think that possibly that was the bottom. I think possibly that was the bottom, but I don't think it's going to like rocket back up to all-time highs anytime soon either. I know there's a whole bunch of people calling for $10,000 Bitcoin, and then there's a whole bunch of people calling for $80,000 Bitcoin. And I think the reality is that we're probably in for a couple months of some just ranging sideways, boring action in the middle of everyone's extreme projections. I think this is just going to be a kind of an accumulation zone for the most part, which is good news if you want the opportunity to buy Bitcoin. Speaking of buying Bitcoin, if you want to buy Bitcoin and you're not signed up for any services to buy Bitcoin with, like an exchange, you can use some of my referral links in the description down below. Also, real quick, before I start the rest of the video, sorry to bother you with this, but thank you to everyone who has already subscribed. It's been awesome to watch the channel grow, and like I said, I'm looking forward to 100 subscribers. There's going to be a $100 good dollar giveaway when I reach 100 subscribers to the 100 people who have subscribed. So if you're watching the video and you haven't subscribed, go ahead and hit the button. Hit it. I think if I've done it right, there's a picture of my dog's butt right around here. That should be a watermark, and I think that's a subscribe button. Or maybe it just only shows up if you're watching it on. I'm not sure how YouTube really works. Right around here. So, yep. But with that out of the way, I did say that I was going to make a video that would be exciting for many people, and that's because there is a miner, a crypto miner that is just setting the mining world on fire. And yes, that's right, like I said, I do like to dabble in crypto mining as well. And helium is what's on everybody's tongue these days. The HNT token. The reason that it's so exciting, for those of you who don't know, it's the miner, unlike proof of work miners, which can be really energy intensive. The hardware is expensive. Running it is loud and obnoxious. That door behind me is closed every time I film because there's a very loud and obnoxious machine behind it. The Helium Miner is basically a wireless router. It operates on what they call proof of coverage, and it's a totally different concept. So it uses very little electricity, like they say equivalent to having a light bulb plugged in, like a 60-watt light bulb plugged in. Makes no noise. There's no huge fans whining at high rates to cool down the machinery, because it doesn't do computations as proof of work. It doesn't have to expend that much energy. It doesn't generate that much heat. So It's a relatively small machine. You can sneak it anywhere in your house that you want, although positioning is kind of important. I'll cover that later. And it is relatively affordable. Earlier in the year, they were going for cheaper, and now that everybody realized how amazing they are going for a little bit higher, especially if you try to get them on like secondary markets like eBay. But initial prices are anywhere from $400 to $700 for different units. And the reason why sometimes on eBay they're going for $8,000, which is absurd, it's ridiculous, is because the return on investment that they generate is absolutely ludicrous, depending on where you are. And I'm not telling anybody in the helium community anything new, by the way. If you're clicking on this video because you saw HNT and you saw a new face, I'm sorry, I'm going over the basics for just the beginning. And obviously, I don't know anything new about helium. The Discord drops the latest news. You're probably already there too. This channel is just going over the basics right now. So anyways, back to the helium explanation, and why they generate so much profit so quickly. Is this proof of coverage concept that they operate on. It's basically when helium miners, they're trying to create a network, and when they communicate with other helium miners, they talk to each other and they say, hey, I'm here, oh, you're there, and they establish this network, right? And the more times the one helium miner does this with another helium miner, you get helium tokens, basically. I mean, that's really broad strokes. And there's more to the operations as well, where you can get helium for like consensus network and everything like that too. But the way the network strengthens itself is by being able to spread their range, basically, and these miners are broadcasting that out. And that's the reason why positioning is somewhat important, because you want to position them in your house somewhere where you can get good coverage broadcasting. So like higher is generally better. If you have like a 4-level townhouse, put it on the top. So I mean sometimes people put aftermarket antennas on these things and put it on their roof and go absolutely nuts with it. So range is important, because the farther out you can broadcast, the more miners you can talk to. Although you don't want miners too close, because a network works better when it's spread out, not when it's concentrated. So while you do want miners close to you, you don't also want them too close. So there's this sweet spot where it's just this basically that's honeycomb pattern. And you can look at the coverage map too. Helium.com is the website, and there's an Explorer on there where you can actually see the kind of coverage around you. Basically, all the big cities are saturated, and all the country, rural areas that you can think of are, and this is worldwide, it's not just the US, but there are heavy concentrations in like the US and Europe and places. So India, I think, is just coming on board with some miners, and I think Australia might be getting some units down there. But anyways, these units are in such high demand that they're all on back order. Good luck getting any of them in any close time frame. I mean, I think the soonest you can probably expect one if you ordered it today might be 3 months, maybe the soonest. And I think that might be lucky. Although there are reportedly new producers of the miners coming on board, and they might have some availability quicker, depending on what they're actually just making right now to stockpile to open with. And also there is a new generation of miners in development. They're called light miners, and they're supposedly way cheaper, $50 or so for a light miner. But you don't generate the same kind of return with them, and that's another thing. While there is a lot to be said about the insane return that these things generate, which, like, I didn't touch on it because it's very dependent on the setup, but there are some miners on the Helium network where you can look at, and these things are pumping out like 10 grand a month, like a $400 unit pumping out 10 grand worth of helium a month, depending on the token price. And even on the lower end, some of them are pumping out $100 a month, which, and being on the low end, if you're paying off the investment in the unit in like 4 or 5 months, and then everything after that is free, it's still pretty insane. You don't see that kind of return on your more traditional miners, like anything that would be mining Ethereum or something like that. But it's not all upside. There is some unknowns. The Helium token is supposed to go through a halving, I think August. So if you get a miner today, you have a good 2 months, 1 or 2 months to mine before your rewards are cut in half. And even after that, when these light miners come out, the proof of coverage is no longer going to be rewarded with the miners. It's all going to be based on data transfer. Eventually the network has to be used to be profitable, and so you'll be rewarded in Helium based on how much data your miner transfers, because it basically broadcasts data. And again, I'm still trying to maintain real broad strokes here to help people understand it, while at the same time explaining it enough that you understand what's exciting about the project, and not going on too long that I bore you. But it is something that I am very excited about. Again, not financial advice. Do your own research. I'm an idiot, and I have historically made some really interesting decisions in my life. But this is something I'm very excited about. This is something I'm really excited about. I have literally lost sleep thinking about how to get more miners, how to place miners. So along that line, I have ordered several miners myself a while ago, so I expect them to come shortly. I don't have one currently. But that being said, you really only need one if you're just trying to dip your foot in the pool, because you really can't put more than one in a household as far as the distancing goes for these things anyways. If you want more than one, you kind of have to figure out other people's houses to put them in. That's where you get into the area of telling your friends and family about it, maybe telling the internet about it like I'm doing now. There are businesses that operate on providing people with miners for free and then sharing the revenue, because they buy the equipment, they give it to you for free, but you host it, so they're basically renting out your space, because they can't put 1 million of them in one warehouse. They'll just send them out to whoever wants them and split the money with you. And there are entire businesses that run this way. But even those are very competitive. They want to send them to places that generate a lot of revenue. They're not going to send it to the middle of Kentucky. Actually, I don't know. I'm assuming Kentucky's a really low populated state. Maybe I'm thinking Kansas. But they want to send it to a place where it's going to generate enough revenue for them to justify sending some hardware out there, and maybe risking $500 investment. But that being said, there are, it does sound really, really, it sounds suspicious to tell somebody that hey, do you want free money? Just as I had been saying earlier, there are so many scams in crypto and on the internet that, you know, I've told some people about this project and why I'm so excited about it, and they think I'm trying to. My close friends have thought I've been trying to scam them, or that I don't know what I'm talking about, because there's no such thing as free money. But literally, like, I'm offering the same kind of service where, hey, put this machine in your house. Don't worry, it's not going to affect your life at all. It's not spying on you, and then I'm going to give you a ton of money every month. And it sounds weird, and it's hard to believe, but that's the way. That's why everybody's so excited about these things, and I'm guessing that this is going to be my most watched video. Just putting Helium or HNT in the tags or the comments or the title. Everybody's looking for these things, and everybody wants to know everything about HNT or Helium that they can, because it's incredible. And there is a really good podcast if you want to really understand the project on a deeper level than I'm talking about it. There's a really good podcast. I think it's called the Helium Network podcast or something like that. That has a couple interviews being done with some of the people involved in the project, and it gets a little technical sometimes. I don't understand all of the details that they discuss on the technicals of how the equipment works and everything. They get down to like a real technical engineering level, but how they talk about the project and the insight they give into why they think a certain way, why they made certain choices, it really seals it for me that it is something to be excited about. It is something that's going to be around. It's not going to disappear, and it is something that in my opinion is going to grow very, very fast. It already is growing very fast. I think it's going to continue growing very fast, despite the halving. So that's the broad strokes of Helium and the Helium network and miners. And again, don't forget to like and subscribe, and thank you so much for watching through to the end, because that also helps the channel grow. Have a good weekend.